Now we've been on the road for 4 years, and most recently we shared with you our experiences when we first started out and learning and mistakes and sharing all that with you so you don't make the same mistakes that we did. Now with all of that sharing we did, everybody wants to know, what are your efficiencies for moving? How do you move? How quick does it go? What does it take to get you from point A to point B? Well, friends, that's what we're sharing with you today. All of the ins, the outs, and in-betweens.
This video is brought to you by Connected Internet, the official internet provider of Life Redesigned, and what we rely on to stay connected wherever we go. If you need fast, reliable, unlimited internet, check out the link in the video description. All right, this is the moment. This is the time that Carrie and I are the most excited, the most happy. We are in, well, it's travel day. And unlike a lot of people, we look forward to this day because that means that we are about to embark on a new adventure. Today, we are in White Oak Shores in Stella, North Carolina, probably one of the best Encore Thousand Trails parks we have been to yet. And unfortunately, it's time to go. But fortunately, that means we get to share, like Carrie said, our path to get out of here with you. And it's all going to start inside with what Carrie does. And there is a lot to do inside before I can even start to get outside. So before we get started, we got to let you know that prior to this, we did do a quick walkthrough because you have to make sure that you've got everything where it needs to be. And we did vacuum everything. We want to make sure that everything is swept and vacuumed. It's the only thing we didn't show on camera because, well, it's loud and nobody wants to see all of this with a stick vacuum. But we did vacuum everything, and Carrie did go up and put up our new cellular blinds. They're all up, and this is our maiden voyage with them, so we're going to see how those go. And if they survive this 3-hour trek, we're going to let you know how we installed those. If they didn't, you'll never hear about them again.
Are you ready? Do you have your coffee? Do you have your oatmeal? Because this is going to be a minute. So me being me, I have a routine and I go all the way around the outer edge of the RV, kitchen, living room, etc. First things first, we're going to put the tissues away because anything I hate is leaving anything on either of the couches because of the slide. I know nothing's going to happen, but in my head something could happen and I don't want any issues. So, Bob's tissues, put away. And then I go up here, take down these 2 blankets because they actually have a purpose, so we'll get to that momentarily. Moving on over here, my most treasured is my frame. So we'll just go ahead, unplug it. I wrap it in this nifty little dish towel. Nice and neat-ish. And then I take all of my crafty stuff, my book, my little You Are My Sunshine thing. I love this thing. Put it in my cabinet. And believe it or not, everything stays fairly put here, which is nice.
And yes, you saw that in real time. That is a couple of kids playing with a hard softball. And it just, rolled right into our lot, missed our rig by about that much, just in case you thought I wasn't paying attention.
All right. So with those things put away, this is for my sink, but we'll put that away in a few minutes. Bob usually takes care of all this, so I don't have to touch any of that, thank goodness. Now, the pantry. I usually put things in the pantry, like utensils and things like that. However, we are stocked. So we won't be doing much of that. So in that case, it's wherever there's an open spot, that's where it's gonna go. So that's gonna go there. I have a candle. I'm gonna not throw that in a drawer. And that one. Next. Take my drying mat. That goes neatly in the sink along with our Keurig. Nice and neat in there. Dish soap, isn't that adorable? Soap, water bottle. Now all my utensils will go in there. That's there. Paper towels, I have to wait because Bob needs those for the outside. Now, your microwave isn't just for microwaving things and warming things up and whatnot. It's also a great fruit holder while you're traveling. And like I said, you gotta find a space, you gotta find a space. So these are gonna fit. Look at that. Out of sight, out of mind. And then I have to lock the freezer because we don't want any instances of everything being on the floor. So if you don't like messes and you love things like this, you can go to our link in the video description with things on Amazon that we actually use. Now, one more thing, yes, it's a little plug, but at the same time, these are my crud catchers, and I put these in the sink right over your sink drain, and it doesn't prevent everything from falling through, but they're like little socks. So if you have rice or something, it just eliminates the risk of anything going into the gray tank.
What she's not telling you is that they're hair nets for your sink drain. Yeah, they're hair nets.
It works on everything, they're versatile. So now from the kitchen to the bathroom. I'm gonna put the air fryer right on the toilet for now because I still have a few things to do here. So I'll put a towel down there. I'll take this one and pop it back here so it doesn't fall when we are driving. And yes, this does go in the shower. Like so. Body wash on the floor. And our trash can in the shower. Now, these cubbies, they're really deep and I love them because I can just push them back and I can start putting this stuff away. And they just go right in here like so. I'll move these up. Toothbrushes. That's not gonna fit there, so we'll put it there. Put my rings on so I don't forget those. That and that and that, and always make sure you lock your door. That's the last thing you want rolling around when you're driving down the road. And that, my friends, is it for the bathroom. Moving on. All
right, let's talk about this workstation that I have here. So this here is my editing laptop, and I've learned over the years to keep this in a protective sleeve so that it stays nice. Everything goes into one bag, but I have a few things that got to go in. This is my external monitor. Now, if you had caught when we were living in Humphrey full-time, the smaller of the Grand Design rigs that we have, I used to have this big, massive curved monitor, 36-inch monstrosity. And I've learned I don't need all that, especially with YouTube stuff, because, well, let's face it, we're not filming hardcore documentaries. So I keep everything simple now. There's my work assigned laptop, an external monitor. Both of these will go right in here into this beautiful laptop bag that I have. And then I have these metal risers, or aluminum risers, and these just break down like that. You just pull them down. And I take these two here, and just like Carrie, I have a home for everything here, and this here goes above the TV. And this is kind of my electronics storage things that I'm doing on our second channel. If you haven't checked it out, you can check out ORL reviews. There'll be a link in the video description. But products that I'm looking on and I'm testing and stuff like that are all in here. But that also houses the stuff that I need to actually make money with. One thing I've learned being on the road and working full-time for 4 years is I need to protect the investments. So I like these Logitech MX keys keyboards, and they're expensive, and I like to now protect them as I'm on my second set, because I did not protect these the first year in. And by driving all around the country, things got banged up. Now, inexpensive cases on Amazon, I think I paid $20 for this, but it protects my keyboard. And yes, I have one for that $200 mouse that I'm running around with here. This here just goes in the same way, and you are off and running, but nicely protected. And I take these, and these simply go right inside here, inside the laptop bag. So I keep everything nice and neat and organized, and I don't have to worry about it as I'm going down the road. Everything just sits and is padded and protected. And then that's that for that portion. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, wait a minute, Bob, that chair's going to roll away. Don't worry, I got that covered too. First thing I need to do is put away my little mat pad here. This is going to go back into storage above the TV. Now, for those of you who don't know, we took out the dinette, or the dining table, whichever you want to call it, that was here from Grand Design, and put in a sit-stand desk. Now, because of the height, I'm not always standing, but I was able to make it the perfect height for me. And then if Carrie needs to use the workstation for something, she can drop the desk down, to midget level, and that will take it from there. But I did not give up the little strap that it came with, and I put these little D-rings underneath the desk. They're just screwed in, and that's all they are, is little D-rings. And then this little cable here will catch onto it. I wrap this around our other chair, or actually I go through this chair. I don't want to miss a step here. Come around this one here, and we just pull that into place. Always make sure you move your vacuum first. And we just pop that back through, and we strap that in as well. That will keep everything from moving while we're going down the road. And this system, surprisingly, has been effective for the past year and a half. We took this rig all the way out California and all the way back. And if you've ever been through South Dakota and boom, 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 those roads, you know that if it was going to fail, it would have failed then. But that's it. That is the amount of work I have to do on the inside.
Good grief. This is Bob, project half done. Carrie will finish. So seriously though, for travel days, this usually goes on the bed. If we're going to less than desirable towns or sketchy areas that we're driving through, this will actually be in the truck with us. But in this case today, that's its home. So as I mentioned, these blankets do have a purpose other than keeping us toasty warm. So when we first started out, people were telling us there is no way that you're going to be able to have ceramic, porcelain, anything nice dishes. Well, I beg to differ, because when we travel, there's Bob again, I usually just keep them in this. And all I do is I take our reusable napkins that are clean, put these in here. I separate them so they're not clanking up against one another. No harm, no foul. Put them back, and I'm telling you, for 4 years now, knock on whatever, I have not broken one yet. So these go up here, and that's just the coffee. We were only here a short time, so I really didn't take everything out. But these are, we have glasses that we've had forever. And I believe these came from our house, so that's cool. But I do take these blankets, and just as a reinforcement, just kind of shove them in there. Very neat, right? This is very technical. Put that up there, and then I have that will just lay down, hold that thought. Bob's everyday pillow. Bob can only touch this pillow on Sundays. If you know, you know. So for these, I'm gonna take my Sunday pillow. And again, this is just reinforcement so they're not flying around. And this goes in here. That's the extent of that. All right, and so in the case of time here, we're going to, I'll just let you know that I roll up the rug, I take the ottoman, Marty Moose from Yellowstone, and my extra piece for the sink, and I put all of that on the bed. And this is what it all looks like when it's all on the bed.
All right, one thing that we did forget, we travel with a full-size dehumidifier, and well, the bucket is full, so we're gonna take this, I guess I'm gonna dump this outside, but we always make sure this is empty because, you know, if you're rolling around the highway and stuff like that, you don't want anything leaking out.
Well, not only that, but again, with the slides closed, this thing is on wheels. So Bob put in this little strap here, and it goes all the way around so that when we are traveling, this doesn't move at all. So now before I put the slides in, I usually just take a quick look around just to make sure everything's locked, there's nothing that's gonna fall. The bathroom door, I'm notorious for leaving open, so we don't want to make that mistake. And the bedroom door, make sure everything that's on the bed isn't gonna fall. And with all that being done and said, we can now close the slides. So we're gonna start with slide 1. Slide 1 is our kitchen slide. Yes, I am that person that waits the 6 seconds to make sure everything is good. And then I go back in to make sure again that there's nothing askew, there's no objects in the way, nothing's gonna fall. And now we can close slide number 2. Our daughter thought this was quite intriguing. She didn't quite get how it was so big, but yet when we're going down the road, how it's so small. And then we shut the ceiling lights off. Then you want to pop through so you can see everything. Everything's nice and cozy and ready to roll. All right, well, I'm done with my part. A little sweaty here. Now the rest is all Bob.
Now we're on the outside. Now, first things I always like to do is get the stairs out of the way. We're gonna push these up. Depending on where we're at, if we were at a beach or something like that, I make sure all those stairs are swept off. But here, open sky, everything's nice and clean. You don't have to worry about that. Always give the door a good push, make it lock. And most importantly, with all of these doors, is make sure it stays locked. So always check that after. Okay, and again, you want to do a once around of your rig. What you're looking for here is anything that may have fallen. Softball comes flying through. So you want to make sure you don't have any broken windows, things of that nature. So you're just going to kind of do a walk around. This kind of serves a purpose because where I'm going to next is really important. I'm just making sure that everything here looks good. The tire pressure I already have checked. We have a TPMS system here, so I don't have to check on each drive day. But we are going to look through here, things that I know that I need to do. This site was a little unlevel when we got here, so I'm making note that we have rocker levels that we need to take off because, well, we've driven over those before. Never a good thing. We're making sure that, again, no obstructions. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find our black tank, which is right here. And we're going to give that a pull so that while I'm doing the next part, all of this can drain out and then we can wash it out with the gray tanks. So Carrie, meet me on the other side. Now, while that black tank is draining, the first thing we're going to do is disconnect our grill from the gas line. And we're going to go grab the cover for the grill, which I keep right in the back of the truck. Keep it right here. This kind of protects everything. But as Carrie alluded to earlier, we keep some paper towels in here because these little side trays are just plastic. And if there's any debris or anything on the grill grate itself, kind of just protects them from getting nasty. So I put this over top and we just cover this right here. And again, things like this we find helpful. There are links in the video description to our Amazon storefront so you can get these for yourself. And then we just take this grill and we pop it right here in the back of the truck. And I give it a little push. Right now I'm carrying a lot of stuff back there. But usually our rug will be out, but here we had to roll up the night before because they're doing some mowing. So it's already rolled up. And this here just gets a heave-ho right in the back of the truck. So I don't have to worry about that. Now this table, this table is interesting. We've had this table since we started our journey. And it's a little table from Lifetime. I think we picked it up at Costco. But it's been a great grill table. This black mat that attracted so much of attention on one of our videos is just a fireproof mat. I don't expect it to keep everything from totally melting, but if there was to be an accident with the grill, this here will protect it. Sometimes I'll wipe this all down before I put it in the truck, but it's just weathered at the moment, so not a big deal. Pick this right up by its handle, and I put it right here in the back of the truck. And one thing I've learned is that I put it front facing, because I've had this happen where the other side, because it has all the indents and everything, the legs, will actually push up against the lift of the window there. And it's caused me to not be able to unlock the truck cap. Never a good thing. So now we've learned to push that forward, and I put something in front of it that gives it a little bit of space away from the glass. Now for this is just a steel braided gas line hose. Comes off pretty quick. There's a quick connect underneath. We just wind this up, and we put this away in the truck as well. All right, now here comes the fun part. I love when things just kind of naturally solve themselves. So we use X-Chocks to keep some of the vibration down when we're inside. And I found out something pretty cool is that a 19mm socket for your drill will not only close those, but it will also pick up your stabilizers. Now, before everybody jumps in, because there's always a bit of contention with using something like this with a stabilizer, the thing is not to over torque them, and remember that they're stabilizers and not leveling jacks. But as far as this goes, it makes this so much simple. Boom, done. And these can get put away. And once that's put away, we'll do the same for the other side. All right, and we're gonna come over to the other side, and we're glanced over there, and notice our black tank is done draining. Okay, now I looked over and I noticed our black tank was done draining. So I always start with the gray tank for the bathroom. I'm gonna pull that, don't look down there, but that's gonna push whatever nasties are in here from the black tank. Kind of clean that hose a little bit. I need to put this away on the other side. Now, there's a part in every man's life where you have to do something that you don't want to do. And that's admitting that you're wrong. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, I have this issue with certain companies just being overly promoted on YouTube. And when Snap Pads reached out to us about 1.5 years ago, I put them through the ringer and said, no, I am all set with you guys. And they're like, hey, we don't care what your thoughts are. We just want to send you a pair. You decide for yourself, actually use them. And for 1 year, I ran with those on Humphrey, and we loved them. So much so that we just installed these here on Goliath. If you don't know what these are, for a travel trailer, Carrie, see if you can get in here and get a shot of this. They make what's called snap jack pads. And these basically replace the foot that was there on your stabilizer with a new metal foot that's encased inside of a snap pad. Now, as much as I hate admitting I was wrong, and they do an amazing job, and it makes setups like this where we're only here for 4 or 5 days a heck of a lot easier, because I'm not pulling in heavy blocks and pieces of wood and everything else to put that stabilizer on. I just put these down, leveled out the rig, and it's great. And I will admit, yes, not only was I wrong, but I was wrong on several fronts, because they also reduce the amount of bounce inside the RV. So if you're looking for snap pads, yes, you can pick them up in the video description. There is a link. And I do want to thank SnapPad for sending these out, even though you proved I was wrong. Okay, I've gone around the rig and I've taken up all the snap jack pads, and the stabilizers are all in the up position. And then coming back over here, I've noticed that, well, the gray tank is done draining. So we're gonna pull the kitchen gray tank, and we're gonna let that do its thing. And while that's doing it, we're gonna come over here, we're gonna unlock this basement door, because it's now time to put away our water hose. Now, Carrie, come on in here. I'm gonna show everybody what I have set up. So we use the Clear Source Ultra. for our water filtration. And one of the things I did not want to do was put that on the ground outside, because one, they're expensive, and two, I just don't want things getting all disgusting and dirty. So I mounted this permanently in here. I also keep it nice and tight in here with the bungee cord, and it's permanently mounted. And then I have a hose. We have a Zero, it's an E-Flex 2 from, I believe it's Camco. It's a nice drinking hose. We're going to shut the water off. And then I have this on a quick disconnect, and I also have a shut-off valve installed inside should I need it. But this here, all we're going to do is we're just going to hit that quick disconnect, and that's it. So this stays on there permanently. The other end's on the hose that goes to the filter. And then this is kept pretty much wound up. And all I've got to do is just disconnect the splitter, and we're able to wrap this up. It's one of those steps that simplified everything. You guys have been around from the beginning. We've tested pretty much every type of hose there is. We found this one to be the easiest. We're gonna let that drain out a little bit, and then come out over here, Carrie. When we upgraded the rig to lithium and all that good stuff in our inverter, it's all kept inside. I was able to mount a little storage box on the tongue here, and this holds all our hoses. This holds extra caps for our black tank in our little tote there, and just keeps everything a little neat and a little organized. And it also keeps any residual water that's in there in that hose, if it was to come out, keeps it from flooding my basement. So everything in there stays dry. So we're taking a look here. It looks like the gray water is just about done being drained out. So once that's done, we'll put the gloves on and we'll disconnect all this assembly. Okay, it looks like everything's just about done draining. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we have all of our tank valves closed. And this will prevent anything as you're going down the road, anything that's left in the tanks. So there's always a little bit of residual from flooding the gate valve. So when the first thing you open, you don't get covered in a slurry of goodness, right? But we're gonna go through here, we're gonna disconnect all this and put it away. Now, I have been testing this contraption from Camco. This is a very expensive, basically a connection to, well, basically what it says is that it's going to work with every sewer everywhere, and it just creates a firm connection. From our experience, the jury's still out on it. I'm running it. I think it's expensive. I think it's very expensive for what it is. And I've noticed a lot of places we've been to that either A, it doesn't fit, or B, it doesn't seal very well, if you get what I mean. And everybody smells what you had for dinner. So at 30 bucks, I don't know if I would pick it up, but if you've had good experience with it, let us know in the comments below. Now let's talk about black tank hose or sewer hose storage. We picked up our Grand Design. It came with one of these tubes here for a sewer hose. I've added 2 additional. One that gives me extra sewer hose capacity, so I can carry quite a bit of length, because we've all been to those campsites that have, you know, the sewer 50 feet away, right? So I have at least a little bit extra reach. I also keep one of them that houses my fishing poles. This way here, Carrie can't say they have to go. But we'll put this away in here, and I always like to stretch that out so it's just ready to go when we get to the next spot. It's right at the door, and this just screws in, locks in, and I don't have to worry about it. Come back over here, we're gonna pick this up. This is that little guide there, and then this is something we picked up that I'm actually pretty happy about. This is a clear cover. I think it's made by Valterra. So I keep a gate valve external because I've learned that lesson in life. But I also like to keep a clear cap, and the clear cap I believe is made by Camco or Valterra, one or the other. That lets me see if I got any surprises when I get to the next location. If anything was to get past not only the gate valves that are built to the tanks, but are external, it would show up right there. And there's been times that I've forgotten to close that gate valve, and that saved me from the dreaded poop foot. But this here, we're just gonna lock right into place in here. Before we pull out these Husky bars. And we'll take this and we'll just place it right here. Now, we're almost ready to get hooked up. Now next, if you're running a Husky centerline hitch system like we are, the smartest thing to do is to hook these bars up before you start getting too close to the rig. Over there you have a little extra room to move. These are just held in place by a couple of pins. We got hooked up with Husky centerline when we first started with our Winnebago some 6 years ago. And every RV we've owned has a hitch setup from Husky. They've been great as far as maintenance goes. Very simple, very little to do. And they've just worked and they've never let us down. And they tow very efficiently. So we're going to put these in here and make sure that that's latched on the other side. That's all there is to that. Now we keep our tow ball hitch here always covered when we're not using it, and then we're about to use it. I started using this stuff probably about 5 years ago, and this is from Blaster, or PB Blaster for those of you who know. It's a graphite dry lubricant. Instead of all those nasty greases that everybody uses, all I do is get a light coating of the ball with this, and I'm quite sure there'll be somebody telling me not to do this. It's worked for us for 3 rigs over 6 years. It keeps everything so simple. So now, when I find the home for this, we're going to raise up the rig and show you how we get hooked up. Actually, I think all this filming has got me missing a step. Before I hook up to the truck, I'm going to disconnect the electrical. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the box and I'm going to hit, we're in the 50 amp service here. So we're going to shut the power off right there. And I'm going to confirm that by looking at the watchdog to make sure that there's no power light on and we know it's safe to disconnect. And always make sure that you shut the fuse off first before you pull. Not only is it safer for your equipment, but it's also a hell of a lot safer for the next person who comes in and they just plug in. Likewise, if you're just plugging in, always make sure before you plug in that that breaker is in the off position. But we'll drop this here. We'll come over here. We'll disconnect it from the rig. This is just simple. Pull here. Close that, make sure that's tight. Now, 50 amp cords tend to be pretty heavy, and I have a notoriously bad back, so the combination doesn't always work. So what I try to do is coil this around, and usually I have these little Velcro straps that keep everything nice and neat, but I left them in our other rig. So until I get some new ones, I'm kind of doing this by hand. We're going to pick this up, and I'm going to get this into the truck, but with a catch, because it's going to serve 2 purposes. Not only is it going to stay in the truck like that nice and dry, but I'm also going to run a couple of lengths of that cable down in front of that table, as we mentioned earlier, between the table and the glass. So when I close this, and I can latch it, I don't have to worry about that table stopping this latch from opening. A little tip from your Uncle Bob. All right, now we have to back up the truck. Now I have a rear camera inside the truck that is letting me know roughly where I am. And Carrie's always behind me, spotting me, as you see from this film footage here. We work pretty well together. And one thing we've learned is to not use cell phones whenever you're doing anything like this, because there's a delay with cell phones. So we just kind of use a lot of hand signals. And as you can see, she's basically now going to drop that hitch onto the ball. And then once we have everything all connected, she'll give me the thumbs up. I'll do a slight little tug test, and then we'll start raising it back up to hook up the bars. All right, so we're going to, now that we're connected here, we're going to raise this back up so we can attach the bars to these side brackets here. And before we go any further, as you never know, safety first, we're going to hook these up. Get our safety chains going here, as well as our brake separation cable, or whatever that's called. And we'll get that going. Hello. And we've got these up. I'll attach this one, and I come over the other side and do the same thing. And before we go any further, we're going to make sure we put a pin in our hitch pin. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's drop that bar right into place. Take this little L bracket here and put this pin through the bottom. So it's all going to be nice and secure. And then we just basically, from here, retract that tongue jack. We're going to pull out a little ox block that keeps that jack pad cover there off the ground, because here was a little bit of a slope site, so we needed the extra height. This is the most boring part about RV life, is waiting for the electric jack to come back. What do you guys do when you're doing this? I just kind of look around and watch people go, oh boy, they got something else going on. Kind of seeing the wildlife. Let us know in the comments below what you do while you're waiting here for 10 hours for the jack to come all the way up. All right, we pull up our ox block here, and I normally have these set up on the other side, but for this video, we'll leave it right here. We're only going a short distance. So now I can come over here and I can take away our wheel chocks. And I gotta say, I'm just gonna be honest with you, for the first couple of years, I probably never even used these things. And I've learned that's probably a bad mistake. So now we use them. These are just simple cheapies from Harbor Freight. They do the job, keep the rig rolling, especially if you're in a site like this, which is kind of got some dips and valleys, keeps your rig from rolling away. Now we're gonna close this up. We're gonna lock it. And we have to go on the other side. We're gonna pull those Anderson levelers out. All right, now Carrie's in the truck. She's gonna pull this forward just about a ½ inch just to get some room here so I can get these back pieces. That's good, Carrie. And we'll have you come back just a couple inches so we can clear these out. And just like that, we're off. Now, I was wrong in the name of these. These are from Beach Lane, and they are the same. I think a lot of companies make these, but Beach Lane seems to be the heaviest that we could find. And heavy means better, right? So yeah, Beach Lane, rocker levelers for the win. And they all go right in this little convenient bag, which conveniently goes right into our basement. Nice and neat. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So we're gonna close and we're gonna lock it. Now, this is where the fun begins. As I'm gonna climb on over to the other side. We're gonna hook in the power. So we have our lead right here. Stores conveniently inside this head cover. And we're just gonna plug this in. Make sure that's in there nice and tight. And then we'll go back and we zip this up. Keeps it all weatherproof. Now, we're gonna go inside the truck. We're gonna power up everything. Check all the lights. All right, so now we're outside. Carrie's got the truck started up. She's gonna power on the lights, and she'll be watching me through that backup camera right there. And she'll know I'm in position, and then hopefully, there we go. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but all our lights are up here. So she's gonna get a thumbs up from me that all these lights are on. And then she'll start going through the motions of turn signals and stuff of that nature. So she'll get a big thumbs up on the left side, a thumbs up on the right side, and then she's gonna do the 4-ways. And with the 4-ways, she gets a little dance.
Oh my God.
Things you do to keep your marriage going. But here, we're gonna walk down both sides of the rigs, make sure all these little lights are on, all our clearance lights, stuff of that nature, and all up there. These are all on. It's kind of hard to see during the day. One thing we are not going to do is we are not going to let Carrie drive. Oh, hell no.
Or do the dance you just did in the back. Oh no.
All right, now we are ready to take off. And our next location is only about 3 hours from here. But this whole process is what we do just to get things from one site to the next. And now without filming, this usually takes how long?
Well, it was a little squirrely today because we were showing you everything. We wanted to make sure we didn't forget anything. But on a typical travel day, the inside literally takes me like 15, 20 minutes, if that.
And normally if we're working together without one of us filming and the other one talking,
we can be out in like a half an hour, fully hooked up, everything, about a half hour.
And if it's a real sketchy place, 15 minutes. We'll just leave everything behind. Now let's hit the road, because we're not done with this journey yet. All right, now a lot of people ask how we know where we're going. Well, that's simple. I already have our whole itinerary. In fact, I have it all for the whole summer through RV Life Pro. So we're just gonna go in here, we're gonna go into trips. Now we're heading to Lake Gaston, which is a Thousand Trails property. So we're just going to find which one I have, which is White Oak to Lake Gaston. We're going to hit this, and we're going to see where our trip is, and we can just hit navigate. So I do have a stop, it looks like, for gas on the way up. So let's hit that one. And it's going to calculate our routes, and it's going to tell us in about 61 miles we're going to get some gas. And we hit start navigation, and we're off and running. Great little app. I don't like the price, but great little app that gets us perfectly everywhere we need to be. And the best part is, everything I do on the computer goes right to the app. So I've already mapped out, I've Google viewed all our gas stops, so I know we're going to fit, and I have an easy way in and an easy way out. Highly recommend RV Life Pro. Welcome to Take Two. The first thing that we do when filming anything now, we have learned, is to test the microphones, because we've already done this once, and well, the sound wasn't working. So we're going to go back to again. Welcome to North Carolina, and a fun fact for you, we're right off of 95. This is the rest area that Carrie and I spent our first night ever in an RV right here when we bought our Winnebago something like 9 years ago. And the killer of that is, when we pulled in, we realized there's a sign that says no overnight parking. This is the spot that, if you heard of ever talking about rest areas and where we get the best night's sleep, this is it right here. And apparently we did it illegally. But basically what we're doing here is we're just checking to make sure that everything is still secure. All the baggage doors are intact. All the little accessories here are looking good. We're also making sure that any of the screws that hold the trims on and stuff like that, none of them backed out. Just things like that. We're just making sure that I don't have anything living inside the vent. We'll check all this stuff out here again. All the lights, make sure that they're still working. We know the backup camera's working because, well, we see traffic behind us. One thing that we do now every time, no exceptions, and if you haven't caught the video, we used to have two nice e-bikes right here until we stayed at a rest area just like this in Georgia, and they were stolen in the middle of the night. So now we make sure to include walking around the back. And again, we're just checking all this here, and we'll do the same thing going down the side of this rig, checking to make sure all the baggage doors are closed, all the screws are in, stuff like that, making sure that the next leg of our trip, because we're only 40 minutes out, is all going to handle nice and smooth. But first, I'm going to hit the vending machines. This place has everything you could possibly want and more. Now, yes, I have a rig full of snacks and stuff, but sometimes a vending machine hits a little different. I'm looking at this right here, this bear claw. I'm thinking this is going right in my face. Yep, we're jumping right on that right there for $2. Let's get it. Let's get the cherry one. We're going to hit 301. Whoops, apparently we're going to go back and hit the right numbers this time. And with any luck, that bear claw is coming home with me. And we can't forget Carrie. She needs something too.
Now turn left onto Outdoor World Drive and then you will reach your destination. You have reached your destination.
All right, we're at our new place. This is Lake Gaston, which we've never been here before. We're assigned site 61, so it's right here on the end. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I hop out of the rig each time, and I'm just going to look through the site, seeing if there's anything that's out of the ordinary. I'm going to check over here real quick, make sure, yep, we have 50 amp. Everything's good here. There's electric, and I'm looking for the water hookups and stuff of that nature. But everything from there should be all set. Welcome to Lake Gaston, Site 61, and welcome to the world's biggest idiot showing you how to do things on YouTube. Why do I say that? Because we got here, we started our site walkthrough before we backed in and realized we can't find a sewer hookup, and we're going, hey, this is kind of weird. One of the neighbors said to us, hey, how are you? And we're like, hey, great, where's the sewer hookup? And they're like, there isn't one. I'm like, well, that can't be. I booked a deluxe site, and we're going to head off to the office. And on the way up there, we realized that yes, it is a deluxe site, but it does not include sewer. It's just water and electric. So that one's on me. So we're back, and we can continue with the video. And I told you, you know, the mark of a man is saying when you're wrong. I was wrong. It was on my end. So now we're going to do this here, and we're going to use these blocks because on this side, Carrie and I are about 1 3/4 inches low on this side. So how this is going to work is that these are real simple to use. Carrie's going to go pull the truck forward and check for level, and then we should be good to go with this. Now she's got the window rolled down so she can see me. She's going to go ahead and pull forward, and then she's whoa. Okay, she's apparently not paying attention, so we're going to have her back up just a little bit. She should be able to tell inside how level we are because we do have the Peach Lane leveling system. And once Carrie has that locked in right where we want to be, we put this second piece behind just like that. Kick that into place, and we give her the thumbs up. All right, and now we're going to use our safety measures here. We're going to put in our wheel chock just to make sure we don't roll forward. Now worried about rolling back, so this one will go right back into the rig. All right, one thing that we've learned over the years is that before we do anything, before this rig comes off the truck hitch, we are going to check the electric, and we're going to do that by using our Watchdog power monitor. Make sure that we're good. So the first thing we do is we come over here with this, and again we're going to open this up, and now we're doing the opposite. Now this time we're making sure that this breaker is in the down position. Once that is, we're going to plug in here. We'll plug that in, we'll turn that breaker on. We're going to listen for a pop. Once we hear that pop, we know the wiring is good to go. So I'm going to shut this off, and we'll come over here, and we're going to hook this up to the RV, and this is going to do a couple of things for us. One, it's going to get the AC going because today we are way behind schedule as far as our arrival time because we were chit-chatting with some viewers, and want to get this air conditioning going. It's about 86 degrees here in North Carolina, so we're going to get that going. And that also will not only turn on the air conditioning inside, but it also gets our router going from Connecting, so that if I need to let Connecting know, hey, we're in a different area and we need to change networks, I'll be able to shoot them an email and they'll have that up and running in about 5 minutes. All right, now I know this next step is going to be basically leveling the front end of this after I get this off the truck. But I can tell by the pitch that I'm going to have to extend this out a lot. So while the snap pad is good there, I want to make sure I have the extra height that I need. So I'm going to put the aux block underneath, and then basically from here, we're just going to extend this hitch so we can get the RV off of the back of the truck. So basically all this stuff is a reversal of what we showed you when we left. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're raising this high enough so we can get these bars off that we put in earlier. So we'll come over here and we'll take a good look and see if we're able to, yep, we are able to pull that right off there. Now come on the other side. All right, we're going to do the same thing for this side. So hopefully we have this raised up enough that we can just pull this out on our own, which we do. So poof, we're good there. We're also, now that we've raised this up to take the pressure off, to take those bars out, now we're going to lower this just like this so I can disconnect this without the truck going flying. Now, Carrie does have the parking brake on the truck, I'm assuming. She does. She just gave me the look from behind the camera that we're good to go. So we're going to pull this out, and then we're just going to pull this back, that little pin there, and then we're going to raise this up to get the coupler off the ball. Every once in a while, I do have to stand on this, give it some extra weight, or else it will pick it up with it. Just enough to make that separation. That can be one of the scariest things you could ever experience. And we'll just unplug from the truck, wrap this around, and there's a place on the other side we showed earlier that 7-pin connector will live in out of the elements, and we're good. Next step is going to be to move the truck away from the rig, and then we'll back that up over here or in front, get that out of the way. Be right back. Okay, now something I missed because I was too busy recording and not busy paying attention. Before we even level the rig, I should have come out here and checked the water. Now I know the water works, just based on what I was being told by our neighbor here. Everything's good. So we're going to hook this up and make sure that, you have water, because water is important. And this one here is a fairly long reach, which is why we carry at all times a 50-foot hose, and we also have another 50 feet in backup should we need it. So what I'll do here is I'll just kind of circle this. There's really no real kinks in here. We'll try to get it as close as we can so that we make sure there's no knots or things of that nature. And here's where that quick connect comes in handy again, because it's just pointed below, slightly below the RV frame right there. And I go back here, turn on the hose, and there goes our hose. It all straightens out, and then it will stay kind of like in this coil position the whole time. This is normally where I would hook up the sewer at this point as well, but since we don't have it, don't have to hook it up. But we are going to make sure that that wheel chock is in there nice and good. Okay, so Carrie and I have, from Beach Lane, we have a Bluetooth mounted leveling system. As an app, so I can tell on the inside or from the inside how we are. Now we know side to side, and Carrie, I'm going to go old school here. We are perfectly level side to side. Now we need to take care of the front, and it shows that our front is low 6 inches. One thing I've learned is that sometimes this thing will exaggerate. 6 inches is quite a drop, but we're going to take a look at this here and see how far off we are. Because as I'm raising it, see, these aren't always perfect. They're pretty good, but nothing beats an old-fashioned leveling system. That's pretty darn good for an old guy. So now, from here, all I got to do is take out the table, and we'll put our table right here, because I'm making dinner tonight. Yes, I do all of this. I look this good, and I cook too.
All right, now that the outside is taken care of, we're gonna finally work on the inside. So the first thing I do is hit the ceiling lights, because I need to see what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna let out slide 2, which is the living room and Bob's office area. And now we're gonna do slide 1, which is the kitchen area. Come on in now that that's all out of the way. So, depending on how long we stay in a location will depend, that will depend what I decide to take out. So in this case, I'm only going to take out what is going to be necessary. And so we're going to start back over here. Take out some curtains. I'm really excited that all of these stayed up, all of our cellular shades. Knock on fake wood, we didn't have any problems whatsoever. Thank you. And now we're going to move over to the pantry, and I have to be careful opening the door because yes, sometimes things do fall out, which whatever. See, you hear that? And it's just my cereal, it's not a big deal. So we'll just pick that up, pop that in there, nothing else is falling out. Take out paper towels. Yes, it's a necessity. Move over to the microwave because we can't leave our fruit in there. Bob will get all upset when he says, hey, Kara, it's time for popcorn and cheese, and you can't make the popcorn because there's bananas and apples. And then quickly, because I am anal like that, I will set the time real quick. And then we're gonna undo the freezer and be very, wow. Actually, while I'm in here, I'm gonna take out dinner because I forgot. Next, I check the refrigerator. Believe it or not, for some of the bumpy roads we were on this trip, I expected this to be a lot worse, so kudos, Bob. Good driving. And then I take out my cutting board. Now this, I have to say, shout out to my hubby, because he made this at home before we left when he was doing all of his woodworking things. So this is my favorite. I'm gonna leave the coffee cups and all that stuff alone because we usually just use 2 coffee cups. There's no need to be taking out all the rest of the stuff for the length of stay that we'll be here. All right, so here's where we're at. It's about 10 minutes later, and we just did, you know, down quick and dirty setup just for what we're gonna need for our 1 week stay here. And that's the only difference from packing up to unpacking again, is what I take out depending on where we are. Now, Bob quickly set up his workstation because he has to work tomorrow. But other than that, like I said, it's the opposite of the teardown. So depending how long you're gonna be somewhere, it's like I said, that's what I take out.
And a couple of quick things I got to point out, because I know someone out there is going to notice something that I missed to do, and that was put the stabilizers down and the X-shocks. Now, because we're only here for 7 days, and I didn't notice a big bouncy thing here, I'm not putting in the X-shocks because, quite frankly, it's not worth my time. The stabilizers, I did run out and put those down just to make sure everything is good. Now let's talk about connecting real quick. I did run a speed test. It's on AT&T from our last location, and it works well enough for me here. It's showing about 87 megs down and 10 up, more than what I need to get my work done. I could call them and have them tweak it or set it to Verizon or whatever, but it's more than fine for what I need and what I'm going to be doing while I'm here. And that is pretty much how we get things done. And sometimes it's a casualty. Sometimes you need to make sure you check your reservations to see if you booked the right site. And sometimes things don't go as planned, and that's part of what makes this life absolutely freaking amazing.
Hi, nice of you to join.
Hey, how about that? We're actually in the same frame together. We hope that you enjoyed this video. We hope that you found a little bit of value and a little bit of fun in what it's really like to make all of this move and all of this work. To our neighbors 2 doors down, you guys are awesome, and I believe they're either subscribers or going to be subscribers, but they're from New Hampshire. How bad can they be? Unless they're the ones that made us leave.